Overthinking, it's something we all do at some point. Whether it's replaying conversations, worrying about future outcomes, or obsessing over decisions, overthinking can feel like a mental hamster wheel, exhausting yet unproductive. But why do we overthink in the first place? Often, it's rooted in fear. Fear of failure, rejection, or the unknown. While our brains are wired to solve problems, overthinking flips this instinct against us, creating endless loops of doubt and anxiety. Fortunately, there's a way out. Ancient philosophy offers timeless wisdom for breaking free from this mental trap. Thinkers like Epictetus, Lao Tzu, and the Buddha explored the nature of thought and control, teaching practical shifts that can transform how we navigate our inner world. In this video, we'll explore 7 powerful mental shifts, each inspired by ancient philosophy, to help you stop overthinking and regain clarity. These aren't abstract ideas. They're practical tools you can apply to everyday challenges, from managing stress at work to navigating personal relationships. By the end of this video, you'll have a roadmap to overcome overthinking, replacing mental clutter with calm and confidence. Ready to take back control of your mind? Let's dive into the first shift, recognizing what you can control. Overthinking, it's something we all do at some point. Whether it's replaying conversations, worrying about future outcomes, or obsessing over decisions, overthinking can feel like a mental hamster wheel, exhausting yet unproductive. But why do we overthink in the first place? Often, it's rooted in fear. Fear of failure, rejection, or the unknown. While our brains are wired to solve problems, overthinking flips this instinct against us, creating endless loops of doubt and anxiety. Fortunately, there's a way out. Ancient philosophy offers timeless wisdom for breaking free from this mental trap. Thinkers like Epictetus, Lao Tzu, and the Buddha explored the nature of thought and control, teaching practical shifts that can transform how we navigate our inner world. In this video, we'll explore 7 powerful mental shifts, each inspired by ancient philosophy, to help you stop overthinking and regain clarity. These aren't abstract ideas. They're practical tools you can apply to everyday challenges, from managing stress at work to navigating personal relationships. By the end of this video, you'll have a roadmap to overcome overthinking, replacing mental clutter with calm and confidence. Ready to take back control of your mind? Let's dive into the first shift, recognizing what you can control. 1. Recognize what you can control. One of the most common causes of overthinking is obsessing over things that are completely out of our control. Have you ever found yourself replaying a conversation in your head, wishing you could change what you said? Or worrying about how someone else might react to a decision you've made? This mental spiral is not only draining but also pointless, because the outcome isn't within your power. Ancient Stoic philosopher Epictetus introduced the concept of the dichotomy of control, which states that life can be divided into 2 categories: things we can control and things we cannot. For example, your actions, decisions, and thoughts fall within your control. However, the opinions of others, external events, or past mistakes are beyond your influence. Understanding this distinction is liberating. Instead of wasting energy on what you can't change, focus on what you can. Here's a practical exercise. When you feel overwhelmed by overthinking, write down your worries. Then, divide them into 2 columns. One for things you can control and another for those you can't. Once they're categorized, commit to taking action only on what's in your power and let the rest go. Imagine you're nervous about a presentation at work. You can't control how your colleagues will react, but you can control how well you prepare. By redirecting your focus, you'll reduce anxiety and feel more empowered. 2. Live in the present. Overthinking often pulls us out of the present moment, trapping us in worries about the future or regrets about the past. You might find yourself replaying past mistakes or imagining worst-case scenarios that may never happen. This mental tug-of-war leaves you feeling disconnected and overwhelmed. Ancient philosophy, particularly the teachings of Zen Buddhism, emphasizes the power of mindfulness, focusing fully on the here and now. The present moment is the only place where we can truly act, make decisions, and experience life. When we allow our minds to drift into what-ifs or should-haves, we miss out on the reality unfolding in front of us. Here's a practical way to stay present. Practice a simple breathing exercise. When your thoughts spiral out of control, pause and take a deep breath. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts, and exhale for 6 counts. Focus solely on your breath. This interrupts overthinking and anchors you in the now. For example, imagine you're overwhelmed by a long to-do list. Instead of stressing about everything at once, choose one task and give it your full attention. When you finish, move to the next. By concentrating on what's right in front of you, you'll accomplish more and feel calmer. 3. Learn to let go. Overthinking often arises when we cling too tightly to outcomes, ideas, or expectations. We convince ourselves that if we can just think things through enough, we'll somehow force events to go our way. But this is rarely how life works. The ancient philosophy of Taoism, particularly the concept of Wu Wei or effortless action, teaches us the importance of letting go and flowing with life rather than resisting it. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means recognizing when control becomes counterproductive. Think of a river. You can't force it to flow in the direction you want, but you can adjust your course to move with its current. Here's a practical application. The next time you find yourself stuck in a loop of overthinking, ask yourself, am I holding on to something that isn't flowing naturally? For example, you might be obsessing over a project at work, trying to make it perfect when good enough is sufficient. Instead of striving for unattainable perfection, let go of what's unnecessary and focus on what truly matters. Another way to practice this shift is by physically letting go. Write down a persistent thought on a piece of paper, then tear it up or throw it away. It's a small but symbolic action that helps your mind release the grip on that thought. By learning to let go, you'll create space for clarity and flow. Now, let's explore how defining the worst-case scenario can ease overthinking. 4. Define the worst-case scenario. One of the sneakiest drivers of overthinking is fear of the unknown. Our minds spiral as we imagine all the terrible things that might happen, often amplifying our anxiety. But what if we stopped avoiding those fears and faced them head-on? This is the essence of premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils, a practice from Stoic philosophy. The idea is simple. When you're overthinking, ask yourself, what's the worst that could realistically happen? Then, go one step further. How would you handle it if that worst-case scenario came true? Surprisingly, imagining and planning for the worst often makes it feel far less intimidating. For example, let's say you're agonizing over a decision to apply for a new job. Your fear of rejection might be holding you back. But if you define the worst-case scenario, rejection, you can prepare for it. Rejection doesn't mean failure. It means an opportunity to refine your skills and apply elsewhere. By addressing the fear directly, you strip it of its power. Another benefit of this shift is realizing that the worst-case scenario is rarely as catastrophic as it seems. Often, our anxiety comes not from reality but from uncertainty. By defining the worst, You bring clarity to the unknown and free your mind to focus on possibilities rather than obstacles. 5. Reframe failure as feedback. Overthinking often stems from a deep fear of failure. We hesitate to act because we worry about making mistakes or falling short of expectations. But what if we saw failure not as an endpoint, but as a stepping stone to growth? Ancient philosophy, particularly the teachings of Aristotle and Confucius, emphasizes the importance of learning through experience, even when that experience includes setbacks. Reframing failure as feedback transforms how we interpret challenges. Instead of seeing mistakes as proof of inadequacy, we can view them as valuable data points that guide us toward improvement. This mental shift helps break the cycle of overthinking by replacing fear with curiosity. Here's an example. Imagine you launch a side project, but it doesn't gain traction. Instead of dwelling on why it didn't work or blaming yourself, ask constructive questions. What did I learn? What can I improve next time? This mindset encourages action rather than paralysis. A practical exercise is to adopt a failure journal. At the end of each week, write down one thing you perceived as a failure and list what you learned from it. Over time, you'll begin to see failures as opportunities rather than obstacles. 6. Simplify your decisions. Overthinking thrives in complexity. When faced with too many options or variables, our minds get overwhelmed, leading to decision paralysis. The ancient philosopher Socrates emphasized simplicity as a key to clarity, urging us to cut through the noise and focus on the essence of what truly matters. A practical way to simplify decisions is by narrowing your focus. For example, when choosing between multiple options, limit your criteria to the 2 or 3 most important factors. Let's say you're deciding where to take your next vacation. Instead of overthinking every detail, focus on what matters most to you, perhaps budget, weather, and activities, and let the less important factors take a back seat. Another strategy is the 2-minute rule. If a decision can be made in 2 minutes or less, don't overanalyze it. For instance, deciding what to wear, what to eat, or which task to tackle first doesn't need to be a drawn-out process. By trusting your instincts for smaller decisions, you can conserve mental energy for larger, more complex ones. Lastly, create routines for recurring decisions. Ancient thinkers like Marcus Aurelius relied on structured habits to minimize mental clutter. Simplifying your daily choices, like setting a standard morning routine, reduces the likelihood of overthinking and creates more mental bandwidth for meaningful decisions. When you embrace simplicity, you free yourself from the trap of analysis paralysis. With this foundation, let's move to the final and perhaps most transformative shift: adopting a mindset of gratitude. 7. Adopt a mindset of gratitude. Overthinking often centers on what's missing, what went wrong, or what could go wrong. This negative loop pulls us into a state of dissatisfaction and mental exhaustion. Ancient philosophies like Stoicism and Hinduism emphasize the practice of gratitude as a powerful antidote to overthinking. Gratitude shifts your focus from what you lack to what you have, grounding you in abundance and contentment. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most prominent Stoics, wrote in his Meditations, "Do not indulge in dreams of what you have not, but reckon up the chief of the blessings you do possess, and, in their absence, imagine how you would crave for them." This practice reminds us that what we often take for granted, our health, relationships, or even small moments of joy, are sources of immense value. To cultivate gratitude and combat overthinking, try this simple exercise. At the end of each day, write down 3 things you're grateful for. Be specific. Instead of saying, "I'm grateful for my family," try, I'm grateful for the conversation I had with my sister today that made me laugh. Specificity amplifies the impact of gratitude and anchors you in positive experiences. For example, if you're overthinking a career decision, gratitude can reframe your perspective. Instead of fixating on fears about the future, acknowledge the skills and opportunities that have brought you this far. This mindset not only eases overthinking but also fosters confidence and clarity. Now you know the 7 mental shifts inspired by ancient philosophy to stop overthinking and find clarity in your life. From recognizing what you can control to adopting a mindset of gratitude, these tools are not only practical but transformative. Remember, the power to free yourself from mental noise is already within you. You just need to train your mind to focus on what truly matters. Did you find these tips helpful? Let me know in the comments which of these mental shifts you would like to apply first, or if you have any personal strategies to combat overthinking. Also, if you enjoyed this content and want more ideas to live with purpose and clarity, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. That way, you won't miss any of our upcoming videos. Thank you for being here and investing in your personal growth. See you in the next video. Goodbye.